Hi friends! If you are new here, welcome to my channel, or if you are returning, welcome back. My name is Liz, aka Knife Girl. I'm so happy to have you with me today. For today's video, I was going to kind of go over some things that I have been working on. K-Cat. So for today's video, I thought I would talk about some crochet projects that I've been working on and show you some things that I've made, because lately I've been really interested in content from fellow crocheters and I really am interested in seeing what people are making because I find it really inspiring and gives me a lot of great ideas. So I figured I would show you what I have been making in case it gives you any ideas. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to give you a little catch up on what's been happening in my life, because I have been AWOL for a few weeks here on YouTube. What happened was I got a gig. So my day job is working on TV shows as a coordinator or assistant coordinator sometimes. So I got on a show, and if you're familiar with film and TV, you know the hours can be brutal. So for this show I was working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I just found I didn't have the time or energy to film and also edit videos, so I kind of just took that off my plate. I just decided I'm not going to worry about it, and then we're just going to have to not put out some videos for a couple weeks. I had banked a few, I think I banked like 5 videos, and so I was able to release those for the first few weeks while I was working on this show. I was working on the show for about 2 months, from the end of January till about now. Actually the 17th is when I officially wrapped. So yeah, I had banked some videos, which is why there were a few videos coming out, and the one that I just put out last week was actually the last one that I had banked, and I just had never uploaded it. But now I'm back filming fresh content. I got a haircut, which is a little bit of a mess. Please don't come for me. I'm working on it. I haven't had the products that I need to try to style it right, so it's a little bit of a mess right now, but it's whatever. Anyway, that's where I've been working, but I'm officially done with that show now, so I am able to have more time to film some fun videos and edit them and everything. I made a new animated title sequence, which I'm happy to show you now. So yeah, that's where I've been, and anyway, let's get into this video right now. Cute title sequence. Here we go. If you recall, I put out a video of the things I've crocheted so far in the year. I put that video out in December 2022. That was kind of pretty much everything I had made up until then, because I just started crocheting last year. But since that video, I've kind of been hit by the hyperfixation bug a lot more. My hyperfixation with crochet has kind of taken off to new heights, and my obsession has grown. So I've kind of just been a busy little beaver making things and just having fun, and I kind of post them sometimes on Instagram and stuff, but I've never done like a big old show and tell like I'm about to do here. So here is what I've got. So I'm going to do my best to kind of share these in chronological order, but basically I'm going to be showing everything I've made from the end of December, which is when I think I put that video, the last video, out mid-December. If you want to watch it, I will link it below, or I'll put it up here or something like that. So this is pretty much everything I've made since the end of December 2022 up until now, March 2023. So the first thing I was going to show you is back in December, I had the idea that I want to crochet an outfit for the Ren Fair. Here in LA, the Ren Fair happens around April, May-ish. So I had some time, and I was thinking about what I wanted to make, and the first thing I decided I wanted to make was a witch hat. So here is the first witch hat that I have made. This one turned out pretty good. I actually found a tutorial on YouTube, which I will post the link in the description below for that tutorial. So if you want to make a hat like this, then you can go follow that tutorial. It was pretty helpful, but kind of with all tutorials and patterns, I kind of get the gist of it and then I take off on my own little creative path. So that's, I think, kind of what I did with this one. I think this one I decided that I didn't want to use this for the Ren Fair because the colors I picked were a little too neon and synth wavy. It's cute though. I really like it. It's cute. So I'm gonna keep it. But I don't know what I'm gonna use it for yet. But I think it's cute. So then I tried to make a couple others with different yarns, and I don't want to find those because they didn't turn out good. One of them turned out too small and one of them turned out too long and skinny and not wide enough to fit on my head. It was weird. I think maybe from the yarn I was using, it just wasn't like working up right. Oh my gosh, kitty cat. The circle of life. So I made this one, and then I made two others that weren't quite as cute, and then I made this one, and this one turned out well, and I thought, okay, this will be the one that I'm going to use for the Ren Fair. I kind of added this little scalloping thing, and I made the brim a little floppy and cute because I thought I was kind of going for like a cottagecore thing, but then I thought this one's a little plain, so I added this flower embellishment on there, and I think it turned out like super cute, and I thought this one turned out super cute, and it's gonna be great for the Ren Fair. I might kind of try to like curl it down a little bit, and I've been trying to kind of come up with some other outfit pieces to go with this. Maybe not to match it, because on camera here, this orange is kind of showing up copper, which is how it looks in person, but in some cameras it tends to look kind of like a traffic cone orange. I'm glad that it's kind of showing up more accurately on this camera, but I was kind of going for like a fall little copper crochet witch. That's what I want to be. I want to be a crochet witch, and I want to walk around at the Ren Fair with my little magic wand, which is my crochet hook, and be like, this is my magic wand and I can make things with it. So yeah, I made this hat and I think it's super cute. I just put some flowers on there, and for the leaves I kind of just made these little swirly ruffly bits of green and sewed them on. And I think it turned out really well. If you'll recall from the last video, I was kind of obsessed with making bags at the time, and at the end of December I still hadn't broken from that obsession yet, so I have a couple bags. This one is a cute little mini backpack, which I think turned out really well. I made this cute little kind of boxy mini backpack with a drawstring and everything, so that when it's all cinched closed, and it's got a little flap, and it's got these cute colorway, which I didn't do color changes on this. This was just this yarn. I'm forgetting the name of it, but there's a particular variety of Red Heart Super Saver yarn that comes in these pretty like colorways, and this is one of them. Actually, this one is one of them. The colors in this hat is also that yarn, not the blue, but the color changing bits, the pink and the purple and the blue. That's all that pretty Super Saver Red Heart yarn with these pretty colors. What I did was I made one long panel here with just a couple holes for a drawstring, and I made one smaller panel here. Got a little wonky because I forgot to put holes on the top, so I kind of went and put a couple extra rows and put some holes on the top, and then I did a long skinny panel around the sides. So if you actually turn it inside out, see the construction of it a little bit more. It's like this one panel, this long back panel with a flap, and then this is just one long skinny panel, kind of making it like a square. So I sewed it all together, and I sewed the straps on, and I made them adjustable because I always like to make adjustable straps. I'm a fan more of these kind of straps than like crocheted straps, because I feel like you have less likelihood of like the yarn stretching, and I feel like these are more comfortable because they're like flat and not like ropes on you. But I haven't actually worn this yet, and I haven't like filled it with things, so I don't know really how well it does with like holding a lot of stuff. I think I was actually going to try to sell this one. So yeah, maybe check out my Instagram if you might want to buy this. And then I also, with that same Super Saver color changing yarn, I made this little sling bag. It's like a little crossbody sling, which I'm trying to show you, but my kitty cat's also, she needs affection right now. It's okay, I love you. So I made this one. I actually put a zipper in there, so I thought this one could be like a cute little crossbody moment, or you can wear it like a sling like this. It's got an adjustable strap, and I kind of did it in a similar kind of construction to the last one, where I just made some panels and I tried to just sew them together so it was kind of blocky and square. It did turn out a little weird because I was really freehanding this. Like, I didn't use a pattern. I just kind of was like, hey, what if I make 2 panels of different sizes and sew them together? And they didn't quite match up, but in the end it worked out. So I put a little zipper on there, and I wanted to make the zipper its own little pop of color because I like when zippers are little pops of color. But yeah, I thought this one was pretty. It kind of looks like a sunset. Like, this actually is all the same yarn. Like, it kind of just slowly transitions color, and then this like purple is also part of that same yarn. And I'm also trying to sell this, so if you want to buy it, hit me up. I don't know. For Christmas, I also got a Centro knitting machine, which I'll put a picture here if you're not familiar with that, but I know a lot of people in the community, and especially on YouTube, have been playing with those lately. I personally am not super interested in learning how to knit by hand with needles. I don't know why, it just doesn't interest me. Like, I've been loving the heck out of crochet, but like knitting with needles is just not, doesn't feel like it's gonna be my jam. But I was interested in the knitting machine because I thought it would be nice to be able to like work stuff up quickly, and I know there's a lot of things you can do with it. So the first thing I made was just a regular beanie, but it's just a plain basic black beanie, which I gave to my boyfriend. And then the second thing I made was this sweater, and I actually wore this in a couple other videos that I filmed, but honestly, it looks blue on camera for some reason, but this is like a deep forest green. I don't know why it looks blue. Maybe it's just the light is really cool. But this is actually like a deep forest green. It's got stripes of the baby blue and the neon pink. And I made this one very oversized. It's very long. It like hits me below the butt. The sleeves are very long. And I actually ran out of the green for one side of the sleeve, so I just continued with some stripes, but it's whatever. I wasn't the most thrilled with how this one turned out, not from construction but from my color choices. Like, I don't know why, I thought the pink and the blue would look cuter, but it kind of, seeing them together like this, it kind of feels very like late 2000s in a way that I just didn't end up enjoying. So like, I like it, but I'm gonna keep this as a home sweater because it is super cozy and comfy, but I don't really want to wear it out into the world. So this will just be my home cozy sweater. The best thing about this sweater is it was definitely a learning sweater, and what I actually use this for now is kind of a gauge for my other future sweaters, because each one of these stripes is 20 rows exactly. I was very careful to count, so they're all the same. So now when I want to determine how long I want a sweater to be, I will like put this one on. I'll be like, okay, I wanted to hit here, so how many stripes does it take to get here? And that'll tell me how many rows I need to make this sweater so that it is long enough. So I kind of use this as like a measuring sweater also. So the second sweater I made, I think turned out a heck of a lot cuter. It's this one. It's like a cute little color block. And again, this is like a vivid teal green, but it's looking very blue. I think just the color temperature on this camera is not reading these colors right. This is like a pure teal, kind of color, but it's just showing up really blue here for some reason. Like the green is not reading at all. But it's this cute little color block sweater. I did after the fact add some ribbing to the bottom and the cuffs with crochet, and that was well after I learned how to do ribbing. So a few months after I made this, I went back and I added the ribbing. And I think this one is cute. I think I made this one a little too cropped because it was like rolling up in the front and the back, and it was kind of sitting in an awkward way. But ever since I added the ribbing, it kind of sits a lot better. It's not rolling anymore, and added a little bit more length to it where it kind of doesn't hit in such an awkward way. So I like it a lot better now. The only other issue I have with this one is that I didn't realize until it was too late that I accidentally put this sleeve on backwards. So it's supposed to be this stockinette stitch, and the right sleeve I put on correctly, but the left sleeve, for some reason, I'm a dummy and I put it on backwards. So it's whatever. It's still cute. And then I made a third sweater, and this, again, yeah, this is supposed to be like a pure teal kind of color, but it's showing up really blue on camera. I couldn't tell you why. Here, maybe I can put a picture here of what the actual colors look like taken with my phone. But this one was kind of a little bit of a scrappy sweater. There we go. Because I was just kind of trying to use up, I wanted to make like another sweater because I wanted to get the length right, and I wanted to just get it all right and just have something cute that I could wear. But I didn't have enough yarn to, and I didn't have like the money to go buy more yarn, so I just kind of used up colors that I had. So I got this kind of color block look, and I think it turned out cute. And then again, like the other one, I went back and I added some ribbing after the fact, added it to the bottom and to the cuffs, and I think the ribbing kind of like gives it like just a cute little extra accent. So yeah, I think this one turned out being like the perfect length. I think when I make sweaters in the future, I'm gonna make them just like this. Some people will make sweaters with like, they'll just take one panel and they'll do 2 tubes for sleeves. They'll put one panel in the front, one panel in the back, 2 tubes for sleeves, and sew it together, and it makes kind of a more fitted sweater. And you do have a lot of stretch to this fabric, but I like all my sweaters slouchy. So what I have been doing for all these sweaters is I made 2 panels for the front, 2 panels for the back, and then I'll sew them together, which is why you get this kind of seam in the middle, which is a little awkward, honestly. You get some weird visible stitching there. So there's probably something I can do to avoid that in the future. And then I'll put 2 sleeves or 2 tubes for the sleeves. But I think this kind of makes a perfect, nice size, like slouchy sweater on me. So yeah, like again, in the future, whenever I make more sweaters, because I definitely do want to do that, because it's actually really nice to just be able to crank out a sweater in like a couple days. So when I make more for like presents or just for myself, I'll probably stick to these dimensions. And then here's something that I've just been making a lot of these, and it's this. I made so many of these, but there's an evolution to them, and I'll show them to you. So what these are little phone holders. They're little crossbody phone holders. So let me show you the evolution of these. This is the first one that I made. It's a little weirdly narrow. It still fits my phone. I have an iPhone 12, just the regular 12, and it actually fits my phone perfectly. It's just a little crossbody strap. This one's very plain. There's no buttons. There's no like closure. It's just kind of open. So yeah, this was the first one I made. For this, I followed another YouTube tutorial. Kind of like I said with all tutorials, I'll watch them and I'll get the gist of it, and then I'll kind of go off in my own creative direction, which I definitely did with these. But I will link the tutorial in the description below because it was very good. And that person's tutorial, they also made like a little ID window pocket on theirs. I wasn't super interested in doing that on mine, but I think that's a good idea. So this is the first one I made, and then I made this one with a little flower on it. No closure. It's cute. It's whatever. It's a little short, but it's fine. I made this one. These work up really quickly. Like I can make this whole thing in an hour or so. Honestly, the thing that took me the longest was like the straps, because I like to make them really long. This is where the evolution begins. I kind of started adding some closures. Like for this one, I added a button and then a little loop. This one I actually made for my birthday because I was like, I want a black and white one to go with my birthday outfit. I made this one. It's like a little neon orange button and then a little flap. It's cute. Then I made this one where for this one I actually have the flower acting as kind of a button. So I don't know if you can see, I put the little like loop closure thing over the button and it kind of, you know, straps the phone in there. This was, I think, when I started experimenting with cotton yarn, because up till then I'd only used acrylic. I'm still pretty new at crochet, so I bought a bunch of cotton yarn and then I became obsessed. So I really like cotton yarn now, so I think all the rest of them I made with cotton. I did try to make one with, this was kind of an experiment. I wanted to make one with an actual open window where you could actually still see your phone. It's a pretty big hindrance when you're actually trying to like operate your phone. Like I figured if nothing else, like I could still see the time or something. Like if I was going somewhere, I could just check the time really quickly. Yes, I have Furbies on my lock screen, but this one, it just wasn't working so well. So it was an experiment, a failed experiment. I also put a flower on the back and this same like loop closure. So then I kind of started this experimental like mesh kind of double crochet stitch, and I got this bag of vintage buttons on Etsy. So I just have been kind of making cute ones and cute colors. This one was also kind of another experiment, so it kind of got wonky. I think I was accidentally doing some decreases, so it's a little wider at the bottom than it is at the top, if you can see, but it's fine. It holds the phone just fine. This one ended up being like a cute little beachy feeling one. It's a little weird and floppy when it's just empty, but when you put your phone in it, it's totally fine and cute. I did another with this kind of mesh stitch, and I just used a flower for a button. So I've just been making these, and I've also made a ton of these for people. I've made some for friends as like a thank you gift because they're really fast and really easy, so it's not a lot of time, but I think it's a really useful little thing. This one actually ended up being a little too chonky, but I didn't mind. Like it's a little too wide and a little too long, if you can see, but I figured that's fine because then if I wanted to like throw also like a whole wallet in here or something, I have a thin little wallet, I could do that and just actually like have it be like a little bag. This is another one of my vintage buttons. I think this is the most recent one I made for myself, but yeah, I've been making a couple as gifts. So I've made at least like 4 or 5 as gifts for people. And yeah, I've been really enjoying using this cotton yarn for this because it feels more sturdy to me, and then also like easier to clean. It's hopefully not gonna like pill or come apart or anything. So yeah, I've been making a ton of these, and I've been kind of trying to sell these like finished ones. I don't think I can sell a pattern because I didn't come up with this pattern. I just, like I said, I went off someone else's pattern and then I took my own creative liberties with it. But I have been trying to be a vendor at like events, conventions, and craft shows and artist shows, maker shows. So I've been trying to sell these. So if you want to buy one, let me know. The next thing I made was, honestly, what I wanted to do was make a sweater for a friend of mine. It's their birthday coming up, but then I didn't know what I was trying, like I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't know if they would want a sweater anyway because winter's basically over. So what I ended up doing was making just a little blanket. It's just like a little granny square, granny stitch blanket, and I haven't given it to them yet, but I've already packed it up in a box to mail to them, and I don't want to open it up again. But I have a picture. Again, I didn't do any like intentional color changes. It was just the yarn that I picked for them because I thought it was a cute color and they like yellow and stuff, so I thought this would be a cute little blanket. So it's just your basic, it's basically a baby blanket, but they're a grown adult person, but I thought it would be cute for like, you know, sitting on the couch, hanging out, just keeping your lap warm for your kitties. It's like a granny blanket basically, but I think this person would appreciate a granny blanket. And then yeah, after that I made this. And in all honesty, this was the kind of sweater that I had wanted to make for that person, but I didn't know how. But then I saw like another YouTube video by this creator, Michelle, but I'll link their video in my description because I've been really enjoying their channel and their content a lot lately, especially the crochet stuff. So they did a whole video where they made a hex cardigan, and I was like, oh, that's how you do it. I didn't understand how you did it, but then I watched that video and I'm like, oh, it's so simple and easy. Okay, I get it now. So then I made my own. My beautiful little pastel cotton candy sweater. And this was actually the first time I did ribbing. Like, I didn't know how to do ribbing, but I looked it up and I was like, that's really not that hard. And it actually, like, it finishes the sweater so nicely. Like, it makes such a beautiful little cuff and everything. It just makes it so finished and polished. Fix the light. It just makes it so much nicer and finished looking. So I love how this one turned out. And again, yeah, the colors are not looking great on this camera for some reason, but here it looks like just a pure baby blue, but it's like an aqua teal blue kind of thing, like quite minty green, but more like an aqua color. And then I use this pretty like lavender and this pretty kind of millennial pink color, and I just went in like double stripes like this, and I thought the colors were kind of similar enough where they blend in together enough where it doesn't look too trippy or weird, but there's still, like, you see some stripes in there, and I just love how this turned out. I love it so much. It's like wearing a hug. I love it. I love my little sleeves. Then I was sharing pictures of this on Instagram and in some of my like friend group chats, and my friends were like, oh, I love that sweater, it looks like a strawberry. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. But then multiple people told me that it looked like a strawberry. Well, dang, now that you put the idea of a strawberry sweater in my head, I have to make a strawberry sweater. So I made a strawberry sweater. I wanted, like, doesn't this look like a strawberry? So I wanted it to be like a pretty bright, fresh, like delicious looking strawberry. So I picked like a bright red, but I didn't want it to be just red and green because Christmas. So I put in the bright red, but I also put this kind of like berry wine color, which it's showing up a little more burgundy and a little less purple on camera. In real life, it's more of kind of like a berry, like a true berry, as opposed to like a burgundy wine. But then I like paired it with this like pretty light colored green. It's almost like grassy color, like a leaf. And then I made my beautiful strawberry sweater, and I've literally made it exactly the same construction. It's the hex style cardigan, but instead of just double stripes of color, I did single stripes of color because I thought it might look more like the seeds of a strawberry. It's my strawberry sweater and I love it so much. I'm just in love with it. And these two sweaters, I think I worked them up kind of quickly, not super quickly, but like it didn't take that long. This one took longer because I was in the middle of working on that show that I had mentioned before, so I was really only able to work on this like on weekends and stuff. So it took me a little while, but then once I got close to the end, I was like waking up early so I could like crochet for an hour before I had to go to work, and then I ended up finishing it. And then the strawberry one I was technically still working, but I was working from home. And so whenever I had downtime, I would just keep crocheting. So this one I actually worked up a lot faster. I love them. They're not the warmest. So if you want like a sweater for, winter time, just because of the nature of the granny stitch, there's so many holes, like it's definitely not good at like keeping the wind out, but it's pretty cozy. I think it also kind of depends on the yarn. And then the last finished things that I made are, I saw this, another crochet creator had made a cat ear balaclava. Her name is Jazzy. I'll link the video that I saw the cat ear balaclava below. I don't think she made that pattern. I think she got it from someone else, but honestly didn't even look up a pattern. I just it was pretty basic, and I know how to make a cat ear hat, so I just kind of took it and ran with it and made a whole balaclava. I didn't want to put it on now because I got my big Space Invader earrings on and I don't want to yank them out of my ears, but here's a picture of me wearing it. I think it turned out super cute. This is another kind of little scrappy project where I was just trying to use up some yarn colors that I had and I didn't have enough to like do other stuff with, so I kind of just did some random stripies and I think it turned out cute. It's all the same yarn except for this bright red is kind of like a different brand. It's a little chunkier, but it's fine, you don't really notice. And then I still had some of that bright red left over, so I made a second one and I think I'm going to try to sell this one if anyone wants to buy it. It's just another cat ear balaclava and I put some ribbing on the bottom. It's like that same berry color from the strawberry one, so technically I could wear this and my strawberry sweater and just be a giant human strawberry. But here's another picture of me wearing it because again I don't want to put it on, but it's cute. It'll keep you warm in the winter. And this worked up pretty fast. Like I was able to make this in a morning. So this might be another thing that I try to sell when I go to fairs and craft shows and stuff, because they're pretty cute. And I don't know if balaclavas are going to continue to be trendy, but they've been trendy for a while. Might as well jump on that trend while I can. And here's a couple miscellaneous things that I made. I do also have some like half-started projects. I didn't really want to share those because they're not really they're not close enough to being done where it's just like a couple different sweaters, but they don't look like sweaters. They're just piles of granny squares right now, so I didn't want to show those. But what I do have is some Minnie Mouse ears that I made. And I kind of sort of followed a tutorial for this, but I will link the tutorial for this one in the description below. It was just another free YouTube tutorial. I didn't, again, with everything, I didn't follow it exactly to the T. I kind of just took the gist of it and ran with it. I think it turned out pretty good. The only thing that I'm not thrilled with is the headband that I used is just this super cheapy little dollar store one that doesn't really stay on that good. But I found that if I just get a couple pins or like clips and clip it to my hair, then it's pretty secure. But I'm not really the kind of person who likes to wear ears to Disneyland anyway, because I don't want them to fall off. And I'd rather just wear a hat to keep the sun out of my eyes. So maybe I will just make some ears and put them on a hat, which would actually be pretty smart. But I think they turned out really cute. Like, I think they're actually pretty adorable, and I like stuffed them with stuffing and everything, so I made the little bow. It's cute. And then the last couple things are kind of silly, but I think they turned out kind of awesome. But so for working on a TV show, they buy a lot of props and things, and for a particular challenge that they did on the show, they bought this thick plush yarn. And at the end of the show, they gave it to me because the other people in production know that I like to crochet and stuff. So they're like, here, you can have this yarn. So I didn't know what to make with it, but I looked up a YouTube tutorial and I will link that below, obviously. But I made this. This was made with like finger knitting. It's not even crochet. It was like finger knitting, but it's this giant poofy bag. And the only thing I don't like about it is the color. I didn't get to pick the color because they purchased it for the TV show and they just gave it to me. But I think this is cute. It's not really the kind of bag that I use because I love backpacks and stuff as opposed to like shoulder bags. But I thought I would try to sell this because I think things like this are pretty trendy nowadays too. So if you want to buy this, shoot me a message, leave a comment. Maybe you can buy it. I think it turned out all right. It's just a little wonky, and that you kind of have to like straighten it out sometimes, but I think it's cute. It's like a cute little statement. And then I had a little bit left over, so I made another little shoulder bag. And this one's actually a little asymmetrical, but it's kind of like symmetrically asymmetrical, sort of, because it's like it goes down, but then if you turn around, it goes down in the same way. So it wasn't intentional, but you can kind of call it an artistic choice. I don't know. I thought it turned out kind of cute. It was a weird little goofy little bag, so I don't know. If you want a silly little statement bag, might try selling this. Yeah, that's basically all of the finished things that I have made. I still do have a couple works in progress, and I'm also trying to do something for the Ren Fair, which is coming up. I'm trying to make like a bodice type of thing for it, and I think that'll be the extent of what I make. When I finish it, I'll show you my full Ren Fair outfit. But anyway, yeah. If you enjoyed watching what I crochet, or hearing me talk about it rather, please consider subscribing. Please consider giving this video a thumbs up. Please consider checking out some of my other videos, because I like to do a lot of reviews. I'm going to get more into like showing things that I make, particularly crochet things, but in the meantime I like to do a lot of reviews, a lot of tips and tricks videos. So if you have enjoyed this video, then please consider coming back for the next one. And with that being said, I will see you next time. Bye friends!